We're gonna rank some more bosses from the Soulsborne series. This time it's Bloodborne, perhaps my favorite game of them all. Bam! The fantastic assortment of bosses from the game, and we'll also take into consideration the chalice dungeons, because I have done them most of the mainline ones. I've gotten the platinum trophy, after all. The way this works is, well, obviously there are tiers, and closest to the letter is the better ones, further away are the worse ones. I'll keep everything in mind when I talk about the bosses, the arena, the lore, the story, music, etc. The gameplay aspect, of course, too. And I'll take them one by one, so I might also rearrange them somehow, somewhat, so a lot to keep in mind. We'll start with the one reborn. It's an okay fight. It's not particularly interesting, aside from the very gut-wrenching design. The introduction to the boss is really well made. I like the introduction. It makes the boss feel more important somehow. However, the gameplay feels like the Tower Knight, but another boss. I've seen this before. You have too. Also, the boss isn't particularly hard either, so it's kind of forgettable almost. But I still think it gets like B or C. That's the question. I guess it can get a B. It's still yeah, we'll put it into B for until later. We'll see if it stays there. The Witch of Hemwick is absolutely trash. It's a D, easily. I ranked bosses, top 10 worst bosses in the Soulsborne series, and this boss was, I think, 7th or 8th on the top 10 worst, with all the reasons therein. The arena is fine. The gameplay mechanics of the boss is so boring. It's just cat and mouse race. The witches themselves aren't even dangerous, and if you have 0 insight, they never summon the mad ones, because you have no insight. It's a cool touch though. I like that thing about the fight. Could have been way better. Utilize the arena more. Please. From the Vacuous Spider. It's also an okay fight. I don't like once again, it's a spider boss with smaller spiders that get summoned, much like Duke's Dare Freya from the second game. But this one throw magic at you after you pissed it off. So, I mean, it's something. The arena is thick in atmosphere, but other than that, it doesn't have anything going for it, really. Some lore pieces that can be pieced together or potentially theorized about, but it's one of those that you just bash and you move on. Is it even a B? Might be a B. Worse than one reborn? I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's worse than one reborn. Fight me, sue me. Martyr Logarius. Oh boy. This is a challenge. Especially if you go to Forsaken Castle Canehurst immediately when you can. It's a real challenge, for sure. He can whoop your ass very easily. You don't want him to do that, believe you me. I'm gonna put him in the A tier. I like him. And you can shoot his sword if you didn't know. Very important. You can interrupt his power-up, I think, if you time a backstab or something similar. And I mean, the design. I remember when I was here. I remember the exact time that I fought this boss. It was snowing outside. I had seen a theater at the same time of Alice in Wonderland. I'm pretty sure. It's still on my personal Facebook today, so I remember. Murgo's Wet Nurse. You know, I like this fight. The thematic design is really something else. And the darkness section of the fight is interesting to me. I'm not sure if I have anything real to complain about when it comes to this fight. Even the music is somewhat fitting. It kind of fits with the boss. And the story of it all. The lore and story of the boss is very important to the themes and main story of Bloodborne and the entire game. I'ma probably put this into A, actually. I know it. Not everyone's cup of tea, but I like it. It's strange, in a good way. Celestial Emissary. Like, what the fuck? It's bad. It's a bad fight. I think it's a D. I wanted to put it higher, maybe into C. It doesn't reach that high, unfortunately. But it's a strong D at least, so there's something. And it's not really a bad fight, it's just very forgettable. It's one of those side fights that doesn't feel like a boss. That's probably my biggest complaint. Yeah, that's it. Ebrietas. I dislike this boss with a burning passion. I always struggle against this particular boss, and I do not know why. I hate the rush attack, it's way too fast, and it doesn't feel like you can dodge it consistently. I think that's why I really dislike it. It's a good arena though, very atmospheric, and I mean story-wise, every piece is there. It's just the fight itself. Still, I can't put it lower than maybe a B. It's just way too cool and important. And I always fight the boss, even when I don't need to. And that's saying something. If only the boss could have used some more polish, that's all I'm saying. Yharnam, Temerian Queen. I fought her once. And I can't really remember much about the fight. Give me a sec.
12 seconds later.
Now I remember. Well, if you can get past the real fact that you're actually fighting and killing a pregnant woman, she does have some interesting moves. She's adaptable to some capacity. She can extend her, I think it's a short sword to be a long sword, or more like a rapier or something. And she fights in the same vein that Lady Maria does with the blood. She uses almost entirely blood attacks, and she has an absurd amount of health. The only frustrating part is the crying baby that can paralyze you sometimes, or when it cries. That's kind of annoying. And she can summon copies of herself in the way that Pinwheel does too, but she does it in a way smarter way. Also, in the middle of the boss room, there's a huge kind of fountain or monument of some kind. So if the other clones, they fire blood magic at you, they can't shoot through the thing. So depending on where you position yourself, it doesn't become instantly ridiculous. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very smartly designed, I think. It's a good fight. It's a shame I've only fought her once. I would like to fight her more, seeing as how she works. Might do a Bloodborne stream more times than I've done, and just going through the chalice dungeons. That would be pretty wicked. I think she's going to A, man. 4 Murgus Veterinars? Yeah, I think that. I mean, Ludwig, is there any question? Possibly it is one of the best fights in the entire series. If you count all the Soulsborne games, including Sekiro, including Elden Ring, I don't care. It's one of the best fights. Just the storytelling from the fight itself. You can learn so much from the fight itself. If you listen to the music, for example, the music tells you a lot of who Ludwig was and what he became, what he turned into, and his former glory. That it's a sad story, but it's also very poetic in nature. I feel like they struck gold when they did this fight. It really, everything kind of came together. Wow, I love this fight with all my heart. I can't even describe how much I love it. And the second phase, man, goosebumps. Orphan of Kos, also an S fight. A low S, but an S nonetheless. An S nonetheless. Prime God. I think this boss is a real challenge. What made me almost put it into A is the second phase, which I highly dislike. Not because of the implications and the reason behind the transformation, if you say, but I just think there are some hitboxes and some, when it comes to the camera, for example, it doesn't fit with the game's camera. They don't cooperate at all, which is very noticeable during the second phase if you want to be locked onto the boss, which I kinda do like to be, but other than that, just stellar. Story-wise, arena-wise, toughness, difficulty, gameplay aspects, everything. Lady Maria, another S fight. Very cinematic. The arena is probably one of my favorite areas in the entire game, just standing there and taking it all in with the light shining through the cracks in the floor and the big ass, I know, very poetic, and the big ass clock at the end of the large hall. The way the fight plays out, the first section is just mano a mano or mano a wumano, and the music is the violin. It tells you a tale of like sorrow. It's sorrowful violin. And then we of course have the Lady Maria turning to use the art of blood, which she hates herself, that she kind of threw away, but she wants to stop you so bad that she can't resort to anything else, so she uses her blood and her legacy, her I can't come up with the proper word, I'm sorry, arvet, as you say in Swedish. Very good fight. Watchdog of the Old Lord. F me, I hate this fight. It's worse than okay, not that bad. But it's so bad. The hitboxes are absurd, and if you fight it in the chalice dungeons, it's unnecessarily hard, not because of the gameplay aspects themselves. You fight the boss in a dungeon where your health is half, and it can pretty much one-shot you if you're not careful, and has an obscene amount of health. So it's just annoying. It's not smart, it's not interesting, and I'd rather just forget about it. Lawrence the First Vicar. Do I dare? Do I dare is the question. I'm just pondering to myself if it's worth it. That was hard to do, but yes. You know what? We'll probably change places. Yeah, I dislike Lawrence so much. The only saving grace is the music. I just don't find the fight funny in any way. It's more tedious, and the second phase is so frustrating. I hate that shit. It's just bad. It's just bad. I have not much else to say. The connection to the main game is of course an interesting aspect of the fight, but aside from that, no. Oddest coin, straight up to S. It amazes me that if you go the story route, so it's the first fight of the game, story-wise. I always do the cleric beast first, of course, but still, there's just something about it. It really introduces you to every spectrum of what this game has to offer. The more like strategic fight during the first phase. The second phase turns into a more, okay, you straighten them, like, and the fight is beginning for real, and then the third phase, you turn into the one being hunted almost. Such a turn of the coin that you don't really expect it at first. Not in that capacity, at least. You expect something to happen, right? And then we have the story, and I don't want to think about it. I'm just gonna be sad. One of the most well-made characters in the game, without a doubt. It's always a joy. Amygdala. I'm thinking this is, in general, the Nightmare Frontier fight. I'm gonna assume it is. It looks that way from the picture. It's an okay fight. I like the aspect where it gets so frustrated or desperate that it rips its arms off, and it kind of tries to whack you with them. I like that part. And the design of the boss, the design of the creature is on point. The name fits in so well. If you listen closely to the theme, it kind of mirrors somewhat Garman's team. Okay fight, not the best, not the worst. It probably gets into B also. It's probably better than One Reborn. Living Failures is not good at all. I'll put it in C, but goddamn the music is fantastic. And the arena, the boss arena, with the giant sunflower. There's something serene about it. There's something relaxing about it. It's a very beautiful place in itself. If you don't like push aside everything else, it's a serene area, and it's just a shame the bosses themselves didn't really live up to the hype. Berk Beast. I like the fight. Definitely one of the higher highs of the game. I'd probably put this into A. Mainly because, one, the soundtrack is legendary. It's amazing. And then, of course, it's your first real beast boss. It's skippable, definitely, but it shouldn't be skipped. Definitely not. And yeah, what else can I say? You kind of get the feeling of maybe you're the hunter, of course, but it feels like an ominous foe, a foe you can't really fight yet, almost. That's the feeling I get from the fight. It's a nice time. It's a nice time. Garman. Straight into S. But the question is... Oh god. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I love the fight. It is probably my most favorite fight in the entire franchise of the entire Souls-borne series, including Sekiro, Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Demon Souls. It just can't be beat. Just the location, the immaculate atmosphere, the music that tells another story from the fight you're fighting. It feels in conflict with the fight itself, but at the same time it doesn't. It kind of makes sense when you put the pieces together yourself in your head. And he regrettably, almost unwillingly, wants to spare you the same fate he has suffered for so many years, indescribable amount of years. So he gets up from his chair and becomes the first hunter. It's, I get goosebumps just thinking about the cinematic. Yeah, I can't say much more. It's amazing. I just wish to experience it for the first time again. But alas, I cannot. Sumerian Descendant. We'll move on. I mean, it's okay. It's better than Living Failures. But I don't think it's better than Lawrence, probably. I just think it's boring. Feels like a chalice fight. It is a chalice fight. The Lawrence story is there. But the gameplay, nah. Can't really... Yeah, I think the worst part of the boss is the camera once again. It's a very small room that you fight the Descendant in, and you can kind of boomerang his blades. It's very hard to see, and it's just tedious. Tedious is the right word. Keeper of the Old Lodge, however, is definitely better than these two. It's a humanoid boss. The design of the armor is... And if you haven't seen it yet, you should really check out the concept art of this guy. Also possibly a reference to the Soul series, because if you look at the armor, it's sort of similar to some of those armors. Kinda jumbled together to form one. A lot of flame-based attacks, but it's unironically weak to fire. It's a fair boss. I think it should probably go even higher. I like it. A bit tough though, but that's just how it is. Vicar Amelia. Story-wise, it's a nice fight. Story-wise, nice design. Fits into the story and obviously kinda goes hand in hand with Lawrence, the first Vicar, and what becomes of these clerics and how it happens. You get to see it live for yourself. Horrible fate. Is it better than Amidala? Yeah. Better than Ebrietas? Yeah. Better than Cleric Beast? I don't think so. Maybe there. We'll put her into A, I think. Or maybe B. Maybe B. The location where the fight takes place is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The atmosphere in this game in general is, oh my god, it's amazing. Bloodstarved Beast. I've never enjoyed fighting this foe, and I probably never will. But it's grown on me. The poison effects, the jumpiness, the erratic movement of the fight kind of makes you stay on your toes. I don't like some of the shit it pulls. Probably around here somewhere, in my opinion. Again, the location, the boss arena is really good. And you unlock a chalice dungeon from it, or a chalice, the item that you can then create a chalice dungeon from. Yeah, I think that's a fitting place to put it in. Undead Giants. This is a boring fight. I've never thought that this fight was necessarily hard. It's just boring. And it's just boring. It's not the worst though. There are definitely worse. You should... should I switch places or should you go into C maybe? I don't even know if the Descendant should be this high up. Might go even lower. I think it actually does. Yeah, something like this feels better. So, Mikolash, Host of the Nightmare. Such a strange fight. But I kinda like it. It's very gimmicky. You kinda chase this boss over a large area. But it feels like you're chasing him. Oh, sorry. In a dream. It really feels like that. And I'm kind of surprised that it does. And there are worse fights. The boss itself isn't really hard. Just chasing him down. That's the hard part. But I still like him slightly. I like this fight. Or this chase, if you say. And there are so many quotable lines from this guy. Cos, or some say Cosm, grant us eyes. Like you did with... Yeah. I might be controversial for this. But I'm gonna put this man into B. A high B. Like I said, there is just something captivating about it. And he as a character is so interesting that I simply can't hate him. I can't. The fight itself may be easy, but oh boy, the fight itself is nice. Moon Presence, the true last boss of the game. The intro cinematic before the fight itself starts really sets the tone. The design is terrifying. Like, imagine seeing something like this for real. Your mind would explode, pretty much. But it's not necessarily hard. It's not a hard fight, I think. Doesn't deserve an S, but maybe an A. A high B or an A. Because I like it. I can't put it into A, I can't. There are a lot of B fights in this ranking, I'm starting to notice. I might reconsider some places later. But this is where it gets put now. Dark Beast Pearl. Terrifying design, just oh my god. And with the electricity, I liked it, because otherwise there's mostly fire or blood. There aren't many bosses with electricity as a thematic. It's kind of easy though, I must admit. If you don't like rush this boss, if you don't get kidnapped and rush this boss, it will be easy. So I'm on the fence about that. It's also B5, what the... Let me quickly glance over the B section. I think after further, One Reborn is a C. It's not that impressive. Dark Beast, is it on the B though? Maybe I'll put Dark Beast here. Or maybe before Ebrietas. Might be put here. Yeah, we'll put him into B. Dark B. Okay, whatever. No, whatever. Shadow of Yharnam, mob boss, and despite the arena and the atmosphere of the fight, it's just not very... Plus, they're returning enemies. Kind of drags it down slightly, in my opinion. But the design is nice. I like how they each have their own fighting style. I must give them that, and it's the most fun when you go in solo. You know what? I might actually give this an A, just for the pure fun of it. It gets kind of annoying when they go snaky. Yeah, I gotta give it an A. It's a fun fight, and that's what matters the most to me. How much fun I have when fighting these guys. You know what? We'll put it in the mirror and descend into D. It's just bad for the boss. Beast Possessed Soul. Right. They have missed one. Strange. They have missed more than one, actually. Bloodletting Beast and Abhorrent Beast, I think, is their names. But we'll take them soon. Beast Possessed Soul is the Pyromancy Beast. Just boring. C. Nothing else to say about it. Merciless Watcher is so freaking bad. I'll even put it below Celestial Emissary. I hate that fight, it's just so boring. Very even list. I'm not sure if I'll change my mind on these. Shadow of Yharnam, strong B, yeah. Moon Presence, strong B, yeah. Maybe even an A. Keeper of the Old Lord. I think they should maybe switch places. Lawrence deserves to be in C. I don't like Lawrence. I don't like that fight. Like I said, on the correct day, Moon Presence will go into A, but otherwise, in B it will stay. Even rhymed. I'm the rhyme king after all. And on the right day, Rome will go down to D, maybe Living Failures and Under the Giant as well. I might have been a little kind to them. You know what? I think the Under Giant have to go here. I think Rome is better than Living Failures. You know what? I think it is. This will be the final one for now, at least. Very tough to rank some of the fights, and like I said, depending on day, I might actually switch some around. But one thing I'm certain of is the S tier. That's always gonna be my ranking. They all belong there, I have no doubt about it. The A tier is very solid as well. The only thing I'm kind of is Shadow and Moon. Oh well. D tier, pretty certain about that as well. Just bad fights, every one of them. The ones I'm most uncertain about is B and C, but this feels like I agree with this ranking at least. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, check out the other boss rankings. I'll probably drop them down below into the comment section, and you should too, by the way. You probably think I'm out of my mind, and I might be, but you should tell me at least. And let me know your... Oh, I want to know your unpopular opinions, please. It would be amazing. So do that. Please like the video if you liked it, otherwise dislike it. And until next time, believe in yourself and have a good one.